What up, you lab rats? This is episode number 20, and I'm by myself. But it's okay, because we're talking about books, specifically books for your business and your brand. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to the lab. My name is Megan, and as you can see, my co-host Kevin is not here with me today, and that's all right, because we're going to talk about books, and we're going to have a good time, just like we always do, don't we? So before we get into today's episode, I want to take some time, because it's really relevant now, to thank our sponsor, audible.com. You can visit audibletrial.com/getinthelabpodcast for a free audiobook of your choice. Because you know what? Ain't nobody got time to read, let's face it. Even though we are going to go over some hard copy books today. They have over 150,000 titles to choose from. That's a lot. So take your time, browse. I just finished Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Play It Away. And I'm still looking for some kind of fiction. However, you know what? The Tony Robbins book that just came out looks very intriguing. So I put that in the cart as well. But yeah, visit audibletrial.com/getinthelabpodcast for a free audiobook. All right. So now that we've got that covered, let's go over some updates. So stuff that's been going on as I play with my Star Wars Legos, because I'm a big fan of Star Wars and Legos. We have booked our photographer for our wedding. Yes. And we're very, very proud and very confident in this photographer. I'm just dealing with a lot of, I'm dealing with so many allergies right now. It's insane. We just booked our photographer. That's really exciting. If I look like I'm about to sneeze, it's because I am. I really tried to keep it together for you guys today. A lot of good things have been going on. We've been making our house a home. A very, very fun, tiring, but fun and exciting step onto the way of marriage and such. And we're having a very, very good time with that. And it's amazing to see how much space we have once we threw out all of our crap. Like, do you know how much crap you have? Like, man, there's just so much crap. So it's a good idea, whether you're like hoarders like us, to do a little spring cleaning. Because you know what I've found is that when you clear out your living space, when you clear out your room, when your room's clean, when you tidy up your shit, even on that level, your mind is clear and you can make better decisions. You feel a little bit lighter. You're not stressed out because your environment kind of, mirrors your mind. So if anything, do a little bit of spring cleaning or just tidy up. Anyway, let's get on to today's question. All right. So let's see. This question comes from Andrew, and he asks, what books are you currently reading, and how has it affected the trajectory of your brand? I always say that word wrong. Trajectory. There you go. So in the beginning, when I first left my corporate job, the first book I read that made me actually quit, that really put a fire under my ass and made me quit and made me just activate, it made me execute. That was the 4-hour work week. And you'll hear a lot of Treps talking about that book. But I want to share with you guys. So of course, that one's on the list, but I want to share with you guys maybe some books that are not on your list and that are a little bit more on the self-dev side. Cause I got to bring it with the self-dev, but I have 2 books here. And I actually have many books that, were really good picks, and I just tried to choose something different that the people that I follow or perhaps that, are similar to me may not, have talked about yet. So just trying to do something new and fresh. And probably, well, we'll see. Seth Godin's All Marketers Tell Stories. So this is right up there with, Gary Vaynerchuk's, perspective on selling, which is telling stories. And when I learned how to tell my story, which was kind of like the first real test of, learning how to sell, learning how to market, learning, just how to develop my own voice as a person and as a brand. And when you call yourself, everybody's a brand, right? But when you call yourself a brand, you actually start treating yourself like a brand. It changes the way that you think about yourself and what you post and how you write and how you present yourself online or on the mic or in video, right? So the moment I started doing that, I just tried to surround myself with the messages that could help me, in any way that it could. So one of those books was this, All Marketers Tell Stories, right? And so right from the get-go, this book already connotates they're just filled with a lot of like kind of short little stories, anecdotes, examples of how telling your story effectively in this very saturated and noisy world is going to make you rise above everything else. And eventually, live a very competition-free business lifestyle. So this is kind of like the new wave of business where you do your own thing, you be you, truly you, shamelessly you, right? And that voice should be able to sell whatever you need to sell to survive in this business world. And so I thought that was such an important message, because the moment you learn how to tell a story and you can captivate and touch people on a human level and relate to them as humans, because we've been sold so many times and just been sold to so many times. And I think the moment we hear some true authenticity and, we see a service that is really serving its customers in a way that's truly unique to that person, because you cannot be this person, then that is very powerful. So, even if you just skim around through this book, it's a really great read for that reason alone. And the more that you can surround yourself with those types of messages, the better you'll be. You'll see it everywhere. You'll see it, when you're talking to your friends, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because now you'll have that entrepreneur tick, that entrepreneur fever. And you're just, selling is a part of life and marketing is a part of life. And when you can understand it, it makes life a lot easier. And fans of Seth Godin will see that his writing style just gets straight to the point. There is no like, let me think about that. It's just, yes. And it's very in your face, straight to the point kind of writing style. So it's not like it's these huge words or anything like that. So I found that it was really easy to kind of just incorporate into my life and then, later on share that with Kevin, because, you don't read. So my next book, is Anne Lamont's Bird by Bird. So this book has a very, it really speaks my language, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of like a tough love kind of thing, gets straight to the point, a little sarcastic, very funny, I thought, kind of writing style, but speaks in a with the undertones of a very warm heart. Like they get it, they get it. And they don't let fluff or guilt or shame or fear get in the way of speaking the truth. Okay. And that's why I kind of really like this book. And it has a lot of little parts where you're like, it just makes you question your whole world and how you've been thinking about life. And it makes you see things in a different light. And although it's not a business book per se, when you can change your life and your perspectives on life in a way that it just rocks your core, like you're like, oh my God, that is just so much clearer now. Or, oh my God, I can transcend that old notion. Or, oh my goodness, So this book, I would say, is more of along the lines of self-dev, I would say. I dare say self-dev. So I would check this out. You can poke around in here. I really like it. I made a lot of little, marks, and I made a lot of notes when I was first starting to blog and find myself online, because I really had to be okay with me before I could even move on and, start producing anything good. I had to be okay with me. And that first relationship that you're in, which is with yourself, like we talked about in the last episode, it needs to be all good, all kosher. You know what I mean? Before you can really transcend and grow. Because if I haven't really, filled up the spaces or my shell or the skin that I'm in right now, how can I evolve? So the thing with these 2 books, and I'm just going to keep it simple that way. You can start with these. You can pick one of these up or listen to one of these via audible.com or something, whatever. Or if you come visit me, I will let you borrow it. Don't come visit me. So, yeah, those are my books that have really changed the way that I think about selling, about marketing, changed my perspectives on my relationships and how I view work, how I view running my business with heart, our business with heart. And so when you're in a clearer state of mind, to be better at business, you don't have to read a lot of business books. That's for sure. Okay. To be good at business and to be successful, I guess, if you're trying to look for that type of answer, I can't say. I can't say it. I'm not going to stand here in front of the mic and tell you to be good at business, you have to read these books. Or to be good at business, you have to do this. I'm no judge to say anything on that matter. I can only tell you my experience. And I think that trying to be a better human being for myself, first and foremost, inevitably affected everyone around me. And when I took care of myself, and when I took care of all the crap that was going on in here and in here, it started to affect my relationships differently. I started to create relationships that were truly effective for moving the needle forward for my business, because when you meet the right people, amazing opportunities come to you. But I couldn't have done that without first, double checking in here and making sure my mind was right. And that came from reading books like this, little paragraphs in here about self-dev, little paragraphs in here about those little moments where they just kind of pass you by and you're like, I could have done that, or I could have let that go, or why am I still holding on to this, or whatever. And, a big kind of thing that I think a lot of people struggle with, and it happens all the freaking time, and maybe it's a little thing, but it's this thing of being a perfectionist. Okay. And a lot of business people, especially this dude, will let perfectionism just run free. It just run to the wilds. It just will never calm down, and it's a wild beast that is never tamed. So I want to read something from here, and it's about perfectionism, and I think everybody deals with this, and that's why I'm going to read it. All right. So perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people. It will keep you cramped and insane your whole life, and it is the main obstacle between you and the shitty first draft. I think perfectionism is based on the obsessive belief that if you run carefully enough, hitting each stepping stone just right, you won't have to die. The truth is that you will die anyway, and that a lot of people who aren't even looking at their feet are going to do a whole lot better than you and have a whole lot more fun while they're doing it. All right? So this is something that we all struggle with. I'm not saying that I'm not a perfectionist. There are some things where I would just slave over and over for when I could when I could just let it go and move on with my life. Okay. So there's a lot of things in life where we let perfectionism kind of control us, and that we think that's okay. We've accepted that. I'm a perfectionist. Oh, you know him. He's a perfectionist. I want to urge you guys to not think that way, because it really limits and caps off your creativity. And it really limits, it really puts a damper on your happiness rate too. Like your happiness rate will just plummet all the time because things are never perfect. So how can you ever truly be happy? So little things like that, okay? And that's why I love this book. It's just filled with stuff like that, where it's like, yes, perfect. It just makes you change your thoughts on so many things. When I thought, being a perfectionist meant I'm an A student or I get a 4.1 GPA. You know what I mean? Like I used to think that way. So chill out. And stop. And you know what? Stop trying to hit all the little steps perfectly, all the little dance steps perfectly. All right. Just hit them while you can. Do your best and have a good time. You only have one life. All right. So, those are my picks. There's a lot more in this book that I could have gone over, but I think we're going to keep it light and short because I'm just having a mad allergy attack, guys, right now, okay? And I just cannot be sniffing through this whole damn podcast, all right? So I want you guys to take care. Me and my family, we're going to Oceanside for a couple of days to celebrate Christmas and lots of exciting things on the wedding planning front. I will keep you updated, or you can stay updated with me by visiting, my channel, and I vlog about it. And don't tell Kevin because that's secret stuff, okay? And I know he doesn't watch my stuff, so it's okay. You can ask more questions just like Andrew did, and I will answer them on the show. So thank you, Andrew, for asking that question. I hope you're taking care of yourself, guys. There's a lot to do. Be careful. The drivers are crazy. They're so freaking crazy on the road right now, okay? So if you're driving, be nice. Don't get hopped up. If somebody cuts you off, just let it go. Let it go. They're crazy. You got to take care of yourself, all right? All right, so good things. Next week, we're going to be celebrating. Is it going to be Christmas already? Oh, my God. Is it? Well, happy holidays, guys. Have a very, very good weekend, and we will see you next week, and hopefully Kevin is not indisposed. Once again, my name is Megan. See ya.